Happy cottage season, folks, for Wednesday, July 9th in the United States and Canada. This is a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WhatChaos and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, run your game. My name is David DJ Bean. Pete Blackburn is across the internet, and across the room is Sean DePaz. Happy belated 4th of July, Sean.
Thank you. Happy belated 4th of July, Pete and DJ.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. My favorite holiday. You know, I'm a big America guy.
Yes.
Yeah, what did you stay home or did you do it the old-fashioned way? Did you, I guess you don't, I was going to say you just storm the Capitol, but that's not a very 4th of July thing.
No, it's not. No,
More of
that's a different day.
January 6th thing.
It's is there a day that they do that?
There's a day that they did do it.
There is a day for that, indeed. A little birdie told me, Sean, that you did a Boston 4th of July.
I did a very Boston 4th of July. I spent the 4th of July on the Esplanade with the Boston Pops and 400,000 of my closest friends. It was kind of ridiculous how many people were there, but it was pretty sick. Pretty sick fireworks, pretty sick performances. This is a big Hamilton show, as we've discussed. Leslie Odom Jr. was there. He performed a song from Hamilton. I was quite excited about it. It was a good time. It was felt very American. It was Boston's the best. I love the city.
The idea of an out of context. Well, there it is, by the way. Boston's the best. America's the best. Sean DePaz.
I love the city rock. This is the best city in the best country in the world.
You got spokes.
Sean saying veins. Boston's the best city in the country.
Fucking
Wow.
love this city, dude. I know I've alluded to it. We have not talked about it extensively. I love the city of Boston. Like I genuinely think it's one of the best cities. And I've said this before because people in Arizona will like, oh, you got snow and weather and stuff. If you take any city in America's best day weather-wise, I'm putting Boston up against any city in this country, and I don't think it's close. New York compares, Chicago compares. Other than that, no one's got smoke for this city.
What do you know about Boston, Sean?
That the city rocks. I love how much education is around it. I love the history of academia and like fierce independence and revolution. I think this city and it historically and currently stands for the right things, and I love it.
Just for anybody listening at home, this is what a glimpse into a road trip is like with Sean, because no matter where we go,
this city rocks.
He sounds like this in the Uber wherever we go, no matter what city it is, whether it's Columbus, Detroit, Edmonton. It's just I love that you find the best parts of every city and you immediately fall in love with it. And honestly, that's such great behavior, because there's nothing worse, especially on like a road trip, a work trip, where somebody just complains about how much they hate the city that they're in. Like, and everybody has like their different preferences for cities and stuff. But when we go to different places, I love that we always embrace the place that we're in and kind of like love to ingrain ourselves a little bit. But it warms my heart so much that you love Boston so much.
I think the city rocks. We haven't been anywhere bad though. Like I don't know that we've been anywhere that like you shouldn't fall in love with. Like,
well, we've been places that people make fun of a lot, and if we were lazy or mean or cheap or took the low-hanging fruit, we could easily make fun of a lot of the places that we've been. And it's just the reality is when you get to these places, if you want to have a good time and are motivated enough to enjoy yourself, you can always do it.
It's because we live in the greatest country in the world, and Canada is a close second. And so I love Edmonton too, because that's the other place that I've said I love this city. But like Toronto rocks. Those are the 2 Canadian cities. Montreal rocks. Those are 3 Canadian cities I've been to. I don't know. North America rocks. It's It's a great time to be alive. I don't know. It's not the
Sean,
best, but it's pretty close.
more so than Peter or myself, you were born to live, and I love that so much about like no, you love culture so
Yeah,
much.
I do.
Whether it's your own, whether it's somebody else's, but like there is no culture, and I'm not accusing you of appropriating, but it feels like there's no culture that isn't your own. And at the same time, like there's no culture that you would say like this is just my own and nobody like you want to observe people, you want to observe places, you want to be places, but you don't draw lines. You're like, just let me in, man.
As I've gotten older, the more I've realized that like I don't know. It's like in the world we live in is not perfect. And people are not perfect, and so
This is
like
the first I'm hearing of this.
everything that like
Well,
everything
Pete,
that
you should say
sucks-
like, well, then get out.
Yeah.
You want to move?
If you're not perfect, get the fuck out of here.
No, it's just, but it's just
This is
like
America.
I don't know. It's this getting tied up in like people's reputations or places' reputations doesn't serve you well. Once you experience it yourself and take it for what it is, I think the royal you will enjoy more of thing. Like I'm not saying you got to enjoy people because a lot of people suck, but like the world at large is kind of impervious to people. I think there's a lot of cool things in this world.
Not to open a can of worms, but like there might not be a more spicy city in which to live than Boston for that type of mindset, where it's like until you're there, don't talk shit about it or whatever, because like obviously there's tons of shit said about Boston that people from Boston lose their mind over.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that like it's perfect. There's obviously a history of pretty bad stuff in this city in particular, but again, like the things that people have done or institutions have done do not, at least for me, take away from like the awesomeness in this city or other cities. Like the architecture, the history, like the positive parts of the history, at least, like that stuff still is what it is, and I love it.
That's also like I was having this conversation on the 4th of July, and we a group of us disagreed with this, but like there has become a thing over the years where the American flag now like it means something else, and it's like where did that happen along the way? Where like if I had 5 American flags on my car that you could maybe rightfully assume this, and this about me. And we were saying like for me, I love America, and like I don't wear it on my sleeve the way that you do, and that's why I love you. But like the reason I love America isn't for the reason someone who has all those flags up loves America, where it's like, because we're doing this and we're doing this and everything. Like, I love America because I love the people and the cool shit you can do.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to have their own definition of it.
I love America for what it's supposed to be, for the ideals on which it was founded. And that's why I love the 4th of July. There was a bunch of American flags. I was singing all the little songs. I was waving my little
Hamilton and otherwise.
Flag. Hamilton and otherwise. Like I was singing like the from sea to shining sea, all that stuff, because I do like I get swept up in that shit. My mom was in the Air Force. I come from a family of people in the military. I do love everything that this country is supposed to represent, and so when I like I said, I can get swept up in it.
That is positively beautiful, and I also just love going back to the beginning of this conversation. The idea of an out of context Hamilton song being performed at something is so funny to me.
Well, the thing I loved was that the army choir was there, and they performed "I'll Be Back," which is the song that the King of England sings in it, which I found like the most hilarious 360 between the legs poster dunk ever, because it was our army who fucked that entire royal family's life up, being like, "I'll be back, you fucking losers." No, you weren't. I love that. Still waiting. You know, I ain't hard to find, as Deion Sanders once said.
Amazing. Pete, tell the folks what's on the show today.
Yeah, welcome to off-season chaos. What a way to kick it
Cottage
off.
season, baby.
USA.
Today on What Chaos, we are going to discuss development camp season. There's a lot of funny things that happened in development camp this summer, and boy, oh boy, we're going to get into it. McKenna versus MJ versus LeBron. I don't know what that's about, but very excited to find out. Gavin McKenna announced that he's playing at Penn State today. Go on.
I said,
John?
who's the GOAT?
Yeah.
McKenna, LeBron, or MJ?
It's the summer. There's news about Gavin McKenna, so he must be put into a summer conversation. So we're doing Mount Rushmore of Gavins. and Gavin McKenna versus MJ versus LeBron. Also, is it cool to put ketchup on a hot dog?
Not to shoot the wad a little bit. I don't remember another hockey player who had a decision on ESPN. So
true.
Gavin McKenna,
MJ's on the outs here. Only one that did not have a decision on ESPN.
So MJ is in the group with Kobe, where famously said Kobe said, all these GOAT debates, it doesn't matter who you prefer, out of me, out of MJ, out of LeBron. So it's going to go, the Mount Rushmore is McKenna, Kobe, obviously, MJ, and LeBron. But it would be McKenna and LeBron that are really the headliners there. That topic is now spoken for.
We are going to discuss the high event Hurricanes. I hope that this is a callback in this headline. Because remember, we called Evan Bouchard Event Bouchard?
Yes.
So there is a connection between Evan Bouchard and the Carolina Hurricanes. But I think, moreover, we're going to discuss the Carolina Hurricanes and how much we have loved the things that they've done this offseason so far. And just like the general attitude towards the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, and you are right. It does have to do with Evan Bouchard.
Okay, great. Everything has to do with Evan Bouchard on the show, more or less. And finally, what's next? Which is a funny thing to put in the final spot because there's nothing next.
And also in a podcast doing the future or something as the last topic. That's how podcasts announce they're donezo.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you do love podcasts that are ending.
Wait, specifically one?
Yeah, specifically one.
Yeah, look, it's cottage season. We fuck around on here. We're doing grab ass. I haven't listened in a while, but I was into the Mean Girl podcast. I was. Unironically,
the only person in the world that has unironically enjoyed that podcast.
I was into that. I didn't follow the pod after it departed Barstool, and I wasn't into it because it was a Barstool thing or because it wasn't a Barstool thing or whatever.
No, you were into it because everybody hated it, and you were like, wait a second. Be nice.
I want to be nice to everybody involved, but
you don't have to be.
It seemed to be.
I don't usually side on that side of things.
Any and all discussion about that show was just peak human brain rot, which has since been surpassed by, as my lovely Gumar pointed out the other day, the Justin Bieber, it's not clocking to you that I'm standing on business, was the greatest, earnest human feeling communicated through decades of brain rot buildup that he was trying to say to paparazzi, hey man, I'm just a dad that's out here. Could you leave me alone, please? And we've seen so many people do it. We've seen James Gandolfini do it. We've seen people do it. Ben Affleck famously. But what came out was at the beach. I don't know who's paying you to do shady shit, but I ain't the fucking one. And it's just all this. Anyway, before that moment, the peak of brain rot was people discussing and having takes on a podcast that was called Mean Girl. So I, once upon a time, had a habit of falling to sleep by putting on podcasts that didn't mean anything to me. So I worked that into the rotation, and it ended up being, it has some funny moments, so I just couldn't fall asleep to it. Too funny.
I feel honestly, that is the peak of brain rot. Just listening to podcasts to be able to fall asleep that just mean absolutely nothing. Just fucking white noise.
Famously, over the weekend, I was doing a lot of driving and put on a David Sedaris audiobook. And unfortunately, his voice puts me to sleep. I learned this. I had to turn it off. I was going to get in a car accident. Too sleepy. So now I'm doing David Sedaris audiobooks when I can't sleep.
Quick callback. Best way to stay awake when you're driving?
What's that?
Hamilton soundtrack.
Really?
2 hours and 45 minutes. I get into full performance mode if I'm alone in the car. That'll keep me right awake.
Sean is the star of this show.
I'd like to pass you on the highway one day, Sean. Just seeing you absolutely let her rip. That'd be amazing.
I turned into a performer in the front seat of my car.
I believe it.
Well, you know about occasionally pulling up a karaoke track on Spotify and just letting it rip. You ever do that?
I've never done that. No.
That's disgusting.
I have.
That's disgusting.
If you really want to sing along, like, why do I need Peter Gabriel there if I could just do it without him?
Because I sound a lot better when someone else, an actual performer's voice is overshadowing my own.
So you know what? And if you want to pick up the great book by my dear friend Nora Princiotti, Hit Girls, it discusses the whole Ashley Simpson lip sync fiasco on SNL. I've talked to many a drummer about this. That was not her fault. The drummer just triggered the wrong track. But at the beginning of that track, it has like the first line of the vocal, so she can hear herself and kind of get her bearings and everything. It's the same sort of effect that you have, Sean, when you sing over Leslie Odom. You got it. And if Leslie Odom's voice dropped out after a little bit, you'd be off and away, Songbird.
I would. And I know we're 16 minutes into this and I haven't mentioned hockey yet. Belle Biv DeVoe also performed at the Esplanade, and I was far away, couldn't
Boston
tell
group.
who. It was awesome. Poison Live rocked. One of Belle Biv or DeVoe were lip syncing quite obviously, and it was a little tough, but still fun.
Really?
Yeah.
I hate that we're not doing this live, so I can't see what the chat's doing. So apologies for the lack of live show. But if you are listening to this and you enjoyed the first 17 minutes of Grab Ass, please leave a comment and say, did not skip to the time code to get to the hockey. And if you did, please also leave a comment and say, I skipped to the time code that got to the hockey. I just want to see what the chat reaction is after the fact.
The chat would have loved this so much. There's going to be that one person.
That's what I'm saying.
There's going to be that one person who makes everything about the Panthers and how we somehow hate the Panthers, even though we obviously esteem the Panthers quite a bit. There's going to be that one and I say that one person, it is one, but we have one listener who is devout and comments all the time. Like when we talk about the Hurricanes, they're going to be like, and they didn't talk about the Panthers. Cry more, haters.
Yeah, just keep disrespecting, you haters. And for anybody on YouTube, be aware, and maybe somebody's not ashamed of this, but be aware that we can click on your profile and see your comment log. So just be aware that like maybe you leave a comment like that, we click on your comment log, and it's just all you do is complain about the Panthers. Not an amazing reflection, and I have to ask, like, I just wonder like why you listen to a show if you're just searching for reasons to be like, they hate my team.
The same reason Kevin Durant scrolls through Twitter. Sometimes you got hater in your blood.
He's born with it.
And you just like a game recognized game. And I love hating.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant loves like he loves hating. Kevin Durant loves hating, but this person just loves to accuse other people of hating.
Yeah, fair. I see what you're saying.
False equivalency, I think.
Yeah, fair.
And what do we got?
We're just not born with that, man. I'll tell you what we got. We got our first ad read of the show, which is Prize Picks.
The best part is that in the notes, it's going to say 16 minutes, 30 seconds, hockey talk starts here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it's going to be the last 2 minutes, and then the ad reads.
We haven't even discussed the bear yet. This is going to be a long one. This is going to be a Chicklets length episode, but 0 guests and 4 minutes of hockey. I texted you guys about some hockey today. We won't talk about that, but I did some rewatching of hockey today, and
it's crazy. Crazy self-destructive behavior.
Yeah.
What? Spend your summer rewatching the games that your favorite team lost in the cup final.
All right, we'll say it quickly.
Crazy ass behavior.
I've been going through a move, been organizing stuff, been just sweating constantly. Life is crazy, and I ordered Sweet Green, healthy, not to brag, and was like, I got like 10 minutes here to knock this out before I got to get to my next task. What can I throw on that's 10 minutes long? And I did the condensed version of Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. And that was the one in which the Panthers led 3-0 after 1, but there were a lot of missed penalty calls. So in the second period, the Oilers got a bunch of power plays, tied the game. And I forgot, and then eventually won in overtime after Reinhart scored with like 20 seconds left. I'd forgotten how incredible that game was, but also how fucking cool Jake Wallman's go-ahead goal was in the third period. Do you remember that one where Kasperi Kapanen had it for like way too long, and Wallman was just like this for
loading
an hour,
up for 8 minutes,
and blasted it through. He sent that thing to Cuba, man. It was incredible. But
it did not clock to me. It did not clock to me that you watched a win when you sent the text earlier. So at least that's okay behavior.
It did not feel like a win though, because as I was watching it, I was reminded. I was like, nobody dominated in the playoffs like this fucking team. Nobody just like ran over teams when they needed to, like these friggin' guys. How did they not win? And then I saw Calvin Pickard dick around on the Sam Reinhart goal to tie the game, and I was so fucking mad all over again that they went with Pickard in that game. And in game 5, my girlfriend came back from a walk, and she was like, "What's up?" And I was like, "I'm so fucking mad at Chris Knobloch." She's like, "Did they trade somebody?" No. I just chose to watch something that upset me. Anyway, Prize Picks is what I call the the shandy or the rattler that goes with the hot dog or burger that is a sporting event. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying about that?
Yeah.
In the summer, you do cookouts, and then you want to have a little something to go with it. Prize Picks is that for me. And I've been doing a lot of prize picking. I've been doing prize picking on the WNBA. Not been doing well, but have been having fun. And that's what matters to me as I go on there, because it's a very easy daily fantasy platform to use. You just create a lineup by picking more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 2,000x your money. It's your place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users and sign up today. And on Prize Picks, you can match player projections from different sports. It's a big mix and match situation. You can combine your favorite, say it's WNBA season now, so you want to do some basketball, you want to do some baseball, you want to even get some golf in there, whatever it may be. You could go all over the place on Prize Picks. So I would like you to join me by doing so. Download the app today and use code WhatChaos and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code WhatChaos and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
We're also in the midst of summer, and it is hot out. You don't want to be stinky. You don't want to be stinky. You don't want to sweat all over the place. So get Mando, because it's a men's deodorant brand that is hyper-focused on keeping every aspect of a man's body smelling fresh and clean. And yeah, we mean every aspect. We're talking pits, belly buttons, balls, butt cracks, grundles, all across the board. We love Mando. We spray it all over our microphones at the studio because they smell that good. And yeah, they do have a spray deodorant that includes, I think our favorite is the bourbon leather. Lather that baby all over the microphone so that we can smell them while we're speaking into them. Mando's created by a doctor. It's clinically proven to block odor all day, and it controls odor for up to 72 hours. Pretty incredible stuff. They got solid stick deodorants. They got spray deodorants. They got wipes. They got, I think, what else do they have? They have, there's a starter pack that also includes the mini body wash and deodorant wipes. So they got a ton of stuff that can cover you and keep you smelling fresh and clean. We love it. So get the starter pack if you're new to Mando. It comes with a solid stick deodorant. It comes with a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, the mini body wash, the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get a $5 off the coupons. And that comes with an exclusive code that equates to over 40% off. Use code WhatChaos at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please support the show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando.
Let's do a few minutes on the Carolina Hurricanes. And we've already discussed the Carolina Hurricanes a lot this offseason because they've been making moves. But since we did our last podcast, they signed Nikolaj Ehlers, which was heavily speculated. They get him at 6 times $8.5 million per, making their offseason signing Logan Stankoven for 8 years, trading for K'Andre Miller and signing him long-term, and then signing Nikolaj Ehlers. They still got over $10 million in cap space. And I mean, if we want to do like a second on the Ehlers, it obviously makes sense. They had space. We talked a lot on this show about how they probably were going to miss out on whoever we thought the number one guy was, because that's just the Carolina Hurricanes, but they were going to get Ehlers. And Ehlers ends up being the number one guy because everyone flies off the board before free agency even begins. So great work continued.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love it. The only problem that I have with it is that a lot of their moves feel like Carolina Hurricanes moves, and you can choose to see that as a positive or a negative. But the one thing that I kept saying over and over again about the Carolina Hurricanes, and like part of the reason that I didn't want them to get Mitch Marner, was like I wanted their identity to shift a little bit. And I don't know how much that's happened over this offseason. Maybe it didn't really need to happen with some of these some of these signings. Like, it's hard for me to complain about Ehlers. I think that they overpaid for Keandre Miller, but we all have the belief that he's going to pop there and reach that next level. The Stankoven extension, love it. Like, that's going to be an absolute bargain almost immediately. So I can't really complain too much. It's just they didn't get like a Sam Bennett. They didn't get like even like a Tanner Jeannot I would have liked for them, because you're making faces, but like Tanner Jeannot would make more sense for the Carolina Hurricanes than he did for the Boston Bruins. And if the Carolina Hurricanes gave him that contract, I would say, well, they've got a ton of cap space, and like he could have more of an impact based off of the game that he brings for the Carolina Hurricanes than he will for the Boston Bruins. And they won't miscast him. So that's why I say that.
I know. I agree. I agree with that, actually. I mean, he's not Sam Bennett, but for a long time, Sam Bennett was like a good third liner. And if Tanner Jeannot was a fourth line version of that, then sweet. And you're not paying him $8 million a year. So yeah, that would have made a lot of sense. I love Ehlers for them. You are right. He feels like a guy who's already on the Carolina Hurricanes. And an issue that the Hurricanes have had that you've hammered forever with them is that they do kind of need to get out of that box, which brings us to this, though. The reason we find out, per Elliot Friedman, the Oilers were so quick to sign Evan Bouchard was because the threat existed that the Carolina Hurricanes were going to offer sheet him. And I don't know where that goes in terms of like Hurricanes type players, but I do know that he would have been I say this sarcastically, but he would have been the best player in the world if he were a defenseman for the Carolina Hurricanes. The way that they play, the way that they just go to their points, he would have had a bajillion points, and he would have become a good defenseman there.
He probably would have scored 50 goals a year. We would have had a billion shots and 50 goals every year, and it would have been so electric.
Now, this is why I'm upset that we found out about this, because it's just a lot of like what ifs. We miss out on what Evan Bouchard would have been as a Carolina Hurricane, which would have been absolutely incredible. The Oilers do have to quickly go to pay him, so they do 4 times $10.5 million, which is a little more than people were expecting on a short-term deal. Here's the worst part, though. We missed out on, and this wasn't going to happen anyway, but could you imagine what Evan Bouchard's arbitration hearing would have been like? That would have been the number one please televise arbitration hearings in the world. I was thinking about it. Can you think of a player who would make for a more bonkers arbitration here? And like, obviously everyone said forever, they're like, if that goes to arbitration, he'd make a ton of money because he'd have a great case because he has these great numbers. But arbitration, if folks don't know, is a very, very messy exercise in which the team has to basically put on a presentation as to why their player is bad. And
can I stop you there? I was just wondering, are you allowed to like show highlights in an arbitration hearing? Because I know there's like a lot of numbers on a page talk, but like if the Edmonton Oilers could have brought clips of Evan Bouchard like defending to an arbitration hearing, it would have been incredible entertainment.
I mean, just from this postseason alone, they would have walked in and they would have been like, all right, Evan, we think, and Bouchard's people would be like, we've got one of the best defensemen in the world here. Yes, one of the best offensive defensemen in the world. But as we know, the defense needs a little work. And they would be like, no. You see the second and third rounds? This is the best defenseman in the world. And they would show clips of him being unbelievable defensively. And then Stan Bowman would be like,
Game 6
I didn't want to have to do this.
Roll the tape.
I didn't want to have to do this. Here's the first and fourth rounds. Here's the beginning of game 6. It would have been insane. And he would have walked out of it like a $17 million a year player. It would have been so confusing. So,
I mean, that's such a good exercise. Like which players would have the most entertainment value in their arbitration hearings?
It's absolutely, but Bouchard is number one by 10 miles. But who else is on the list? Like, I bet some goalies, but
Pyotr Kochetkov.
But like, it has to be amazing players though. Like Stu Skinner would be a fun one because like there's great and there's bad, but like at the end of the day, we know like this is not an elite player. Pyotr Kochetkov.
Yeah, like the stakes aren't as high. Like the stakes for Bouchard are like, you want $11 million. Like obviously that's an inflated number, but like his ceiling is so high.
And Bouchard's a fun one because there are hockey fans who seriously would not want him on the league minimum, which is of course insane. Yeah. But there are like people who are like, no, this is a bad player. I don't know if that exists with too many other top end players. I used to do this with Giannis. Like he, to me, at times struck me as the worst best player in the league I've ever seen. Where like we all acknowledge this guy's the best player in the league, but of people we have ever called the best player in their league, Giannis is the worst because he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do that. Bouchard's got some of that, but
Bouchard is like a real litmus test for like who doesn't watch games outside of their network. Like there's so many people. Like I know that like people hated the wacky trade proposals that we had when it came to Jeremy Swayman and involved Evan Bouchard. And like I understand being like absolutely fucking not. I hate this, and like people hated it from both sides, Edmonton Oilers fans and Bruins fans.
Which shows it's a good trade, by the way.
That part is, it may not be a good trade, but it shows that it's an even trade.
Yes,
a somewhat even trade, at least in those two components. But yeah, it was a real like eye-opening experience to see like how many people have a perception of Evan Bouchard without watching him a lot. Because yeah, you can see the clips that show up on Twitter of him failing to defend, and it looks horrible. But like you're also ignoring how fucking explosive he is and how good he is in the offensive end. And I think like that it's always going to be polarizing with those kinds of players who, especially defensemen, who struggle to defend, and how often they're criticized for that. But I mean, saying that like you wouldn't take that guy on your team regardless of price, which I saw plenty of, is just crazy.
Now,
stuff.
Here's the last thought I have on this. Should Edmonton have just taken 4 first-round picks for Evan Bouchard? I know that's the Hurricanes, and they're probably going to be good for a long time, but if there's a threat of an offer sheet, it's going to have to be in the range that's going to be 4 first-round picks for him to sign that. So you save the $10.5 million on the cap, and then you've got first-round picks for the next 4 years. I think that I probably still would keep Evan Bouchard, but like you could have let him go, gotten a bunch of picks, and then signed Ehlers if you wanted to.
Yeah, I guess, but does that make you a better team tomorrow? Like I don't know. I don't think that the answer to that is yes.
Yeah, you're worse.
Yeah, and like what are you doing with the first round picks? Because I really like at the top of the docket for the Oilers right now is giving Connor McDavid reasons to stay. And if you're taking 4 first-round picks and you don't have a plan with them and you're getting worse the next day, what's the sell? You're saving money, but you're potentially giving yourself a worse shot at keeping like the best player of this generation. I hate that.
Yeah, it gave me pause. I thought, I was like, were they really in such a hurry to do it? Like, would it have been the end of the world? But you're right. Have the better team. Keep Evan Bouchard. On the Hurricanes going for it now, I celebrated the Hurricanes making all their moves, and how could you not at this point? I know that people have questions about the Miller contract, but I think that, as you said, he's just going to be awesome because this is what the Hurricanes do with defensemen. The celebration of the Hurricanes was met with a lot of all that to lose again to the Panthers, or all that to not get out of this round or that round. And I always hate that because waiting out a team is never a wise move. It's risky. Maybe you could, but saying, you know what, we're going to wait until this team is done winning is stupid, because you never know. There could be injuries next season. And with the new CBA, it's going to be harder to fudge around with the LTIR. So the Panthers, among other contending teams, aren't going to have as easy a time as they've had. And also, like, are they really going for it now that much? Because Sebastian Aho is 27 years old. Keandre Miller, who they just got, is 25 years old. Their best players, Seth Jarvis, Logan Stankoven, Nikisha, like, their best players and their key pieces are 23 years old and younger. Like, they are, I think, in a absolute fine place age-wise to go out and spend in free agency.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that, and like also agree with, like, they're knocking on the door, and like right now, based off of last season, and I guess based off of like the aggregate of the past few seasons, like the only team standing in front of them in the Eastern Conference who has like a clearer pole position, the Florida Panthers, and like the Florida Panthers dominant, and like that may remain the same, but like if you're Carolina, you don't give up your position because there's one team in front of you in the conference. Like, you just try to get better and close the gap and hope that you catch some breaks and hope that like the playoffs go differently, and maybe you discover some sort of identity that brings you closer. Again, like I just keep going back to, like, the identity hasn't changed all that much, and that's the part that leaves me a little bit hesitant like at over complimenting their offseason. I love their moves. I don't know how much they've truly closed the gap. I think that they've gotten to be a better team. And I think that like some of the moves that like, I'm not even looking at the additions. Like the Nikishin, full year Nikishin should help them be better. And like Stankoven having a full year in Carolina in that system should make them better. Like there is a number of reasons to believe in the Carolina Hurricanes, but like a couple of the things that remain are, the identity and then the goaltending, which is still a big question mark.
Yeah. And I'll just say, to kind of tag the conversation about a team that thus far has won the offseason, because there's obviously a lot of moves and probably trades and arbitration hearings and everything to come. So we'll find out what's what. I still like teams that like weren't active this offseason. Like, I still really like the Stars. I love the Avalanche still. And the Avalanche thing was embarrassing, but I'm not sleeping on them a drop. I'm biased, but like Edmonton had an uneventful offseason, but like it's just to say, the teams, you say it every year, like winning the offseason doesn't mean blah, blah. I say it a different way, which is like teams that didn't win the offseason aren't necessarily cooked. So like, I love the Hurricanes, and I think they deserve every ounce of praise they've gotten. I'm not giving them the Eastern Conference, but I'll remind people, nobody is. Nobody's
Right.
saying, okay, so bam. They're saying what you just said, Pete, which is like they're knocking on the door. So yeah, go out and sign the best free agent.
Also, like, nobody should be giving any team the conference, whether it's Eastern Conference, Western Conference, regardless of the team. Don't give them the conference in July. Like the Panthers, we can give them all the credit in the world for keeping all their guys. It doesn't mean it's going to look exactly the same when they hit the ice next season. It's just, that's the nature of the sport, and there's so much uncertainty left to be seen. And like, I think this offseason more than others, like, people are like mostly critical of the teams that did a lot, and there's good reason for that. The free agency class was pretty ass, but like, who are the busiest teams other than Carolina? It was like Boston and LA, and people hated those off seasons. Like
Yeah.
I think that the Bruins off season is being a little bit like overshadowed by the Jeannot signing and how bad it's perceived. But like they're not that much better, and I don't think the Kings are all that much better after the flurry of moves that they made.
Canadians, a busy team that I've
Yeah.
like universally enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've made a lot of, and obviously Utah, just like flurry of moves, but not. Yeah, I mean Peterka's a pretty huge one. Okay, best part of the show is coming up, I promise. After I tell you about Shady Rays. I was tubing on a river, and let me tell you, it was a fun experience, but I was kind of upset. It was the river was not moving at the speed that I wanted. It was very slow. I'm used to whitewater rafting, so I was a little bummed by how much work I had to do to just get like fucking moving. But you know what? I looked good. Yep.
Can I ask? Did the river have a laziness to it?
This is not called a lazy river. It was the Saco River, but it was definitely a lethargic, very like loosey goosey, very restful.
Mailing it in.
Restful. Oh, I've also been big into this summer. New summer, new me. I've been huge into resting. If I do shit now, I just rest. If I do anything afterwards, I rest. Have a meal, rest. Go for a walk. Afterwards, let me lie down and rest. Big rest guy. So I didn't like this river.
Revelation.
Yeah, you know me. I don't do a lot of resting. I'm running around, crashing into walls. Now I'm resting. Anyway, the river wasn't fucking moving, but I looked good because I had my Shady Rays on, and it was they come in your team's colors. You know the story. We tell you. What?
I almost lost my Shady Rays this weekend.
You would have been covered.
That don't matter.
Fine. I went and found them, thankfully, because I didn't have to wait to get my new ones. But I did almost lose them, and I was not panicked because I knew I didn't have to worry about it.
Listen to 2020 Sean just shitting on the Postal Service.
Hey, they're underfunded.
They are famously underfunded.
Good band, though.
The Postal Service?
Yeah.
I think I saw something about the format getting back together. You hear Oasis playing concerts? Crazy. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, I should say, such as being in a river, lazy, lethargic, restful, sleepy, and they got hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the right pair to match your style. And yes, they got them in your favorite team's colors, so I pop a little orange to represent Texas, Edmonton, all these lovely places. Anaheim even. Shout out the Ducks. People forget. They got Mikhail Granlund. Big offseason for them. So, exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving it, what's that?
Got rid of Trevor Zegers.
They did. He's wearing orange now. That guy loves orange. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code AC35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
If you're feeling lethargic like a river, could be because you're putting bad things in your body. You're eating crap, eating absolute disgusting garbage. Stop doing that, because summer's here and you want to feel the sun. You want to feel good about your body. You want to maybe go tarps off at the beach or at the pool. Start eating Factor. That's right. Start eating Factor, because Factor meals, they're unbelievable and they're perfect for any active lifestyle. Whether you're active sexually or active out in the sun, you're just running short on time, Factor's got you covered, because they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, and it takes the hassle out of eating well. Factor powers your day from sun up to sundown, because they got nutritious breakfast, they got on-the-go lunches, they got premium dinners, guilt-free snacks, and desserts. Am I missing anything? No, I'm fucking not, because they don't miss a goddamn thing. They got 45 weekly menu options. You can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. We're talking Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. We live the Factor lifestyle. That's why we look so good, so goddamn good, and we love it. Can't say enough good things about Factor. And the thing that I will say is Factor does not taste like a microwavable meal. They are not your divorced dad, lonely, sad budget apartment after the divorce, is sitting on a lone recliner in the middle of an empty living room, eating off a TV stand. The most
Famously,
depressing
none of our
shit
listeners are divorced. Pete checked the numbers. We have no divorced listeners.
Listen, you can be divorced. There's nothing wrong with being divorced. You don't have to live like you're divorced. You don't have to live like you're sad and just eat Factor. You'll be so much happier and you won't look so sad. And it tastes delicious. Not like some of these other crap frozen meals that you'll find heating and eaten in 2 minutes. So get started at factormeals.com/whatchaos50off and use code whatchaos50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. One more time, that's code whatchaos50off at factormeals.com/whatchaos50off for 50% off plus free shipping. I lied, that wasn't the last time. This is the last time. factormeals.com/whatchaos50off.
I have some breaking news.
Yeah?
The Edmonton Oilers have acquired forward Isaac Howard from the Tampa Bay
Lightning. No way!
Forward Sam Riley. They've also signed Howard to a 3-year entry-level contract.
Holy fuck!
Sam Riley? Wow.
That is a massive deal!
That is huge.
Wow! Oh!
Wow. Damn. Oh. Let's get spicy.
McDavid is staying.
All right. All right. Like I cannot wait to send out a bunch of texts after this show and find out what people think of this. Both these guys are very highly regarded in terms of young players.
Yeah. I mean, Sam O'Reilly was, if you remember at the Sphere, Oilers traded into the first round and they don't have a lot of picks and they traded into the first round and took a kid out of London. And I was like, this is very cool. We all had COVID, but I was like, this is very cool. But what are you fucking doing? Don't trade future picks. What's going on? Turns out kid's a stud of a prospect. Great season this past year in the OHL, but they turn him into a first round pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning who would not sign with them and was what's that?
A higher first round pick.
Was he 12th overall?
I want to say he was mid-teens. I don't know for sure off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, reigning Hobey Baker winner, 2 years older.
Was drafted 31st overall.
Oh no, he wasn't. It wasn't a higher.
Famously in 2022, the Lightning would have been drafting. The Lightning had their own pick in 2022.
I don't know.
He was a higher pick. He was a higher pick by one selection. Really oversold.
So this is not the Rutger McGroarty trade where it was we'll trade our 14th overall pick for your 14th overall pick the year before. That's Isaac Howard talk. No, that is wild. I mean, his stock has been through the roof, as you said. Reigning Hobey Baker winner, was threatening to go back to college if it just was going to go back to college because he was not going to sign with the Lightning. Little whispers that we heard was that he really wanted the red carpet rolled out for him, and the Lightning said, that is not what we do. So they just fucking lost the player. But damn, they get Sam O'Reilly back. That is there were reports that the Oilers had offered a first-round pick, and Tampa said no. I like the idea of saying, yeah, give me O'Reilly instead. That's a huge trade. That is that is Delman Young for Matt Garza is what that is.
Implications for years to come. And it's one of those fun ones to watch because we don't really know who wins right now, obviously. Anybody can throw out their projections of who these guys are and the impact that they're going to have. But it's going to be fun to watch just how these two guys compare and who comes out on top here. That's such a fun trade.
Oh man, I will lose my mind if Sam O'Reilly ends up becoming an absolute stud, which it looks like he's going to. But Isaac Howard, a 5'10" left wing out of Hudson, Wisconsin. A lot of Americans on the Edmonton Oilers these days. What's going on with that? They got Ty Emberson. They got Trent Frederick on that sweetheart of a deal. Oh, man.
It does seem like there's a lot of American players going to Canadian markets. Like the Montreal Canadiens are just like filled with Americans that I love. And
Okay,
I
so
really dislike that.
I'm going to just text Cam Robinson now and just be like,
What do you think?
give me an elevator pitch on this guy beyond that. Like every team's fan base was saying, trade for this guy. Trade for this guy. Trade your first round pick for this guy. And it ends up being Edmonton, who they've said McDavid wants them to get younger. I don't know if I totally believe that. I bet he's not happy that they didn't bring back Corey Perry. You know, I can't imagine he's thrilled that Connor Brown walked out the door. But if this guy's going to have an impact soon, and you have Savoy coming in, and you have Isaac Howard, so that is a nice little job by Mr. Bowman of making a little chicken salad.
I mean, it's also a nice job of Julian Brisebois. Like, I know that like people are saying that the Lightning got in their own way with Isaac Howard, and I'm sure partially that's true. But like, if a guy says he's out on you and he's done, and you look like you're going to lose that first round pick, to then turn him into like another very promising prospect, it's a good bit of work. Like, I don't hate it. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, there's now an injection of youth into the Edmonton Oilers lineup, and that's going to be pretty exciting to watch. And I like, what a position for that kid to be in, to step in. And he signed. Sean, you said he signed his ELC.
Yes, he did. I don't see any details on it, but he did.
Oh,
CLC.
So the assumption would be like he's gonna be on the team next year, which fuck yeah. Because like he wants to be in the NHL. That's the reason why he's not. There's a reason why he's not a Tampa Bay Lightning.
Damn, I mean, I thought he wanted to burn it at the end of this year.
Right.
And Tampa said no because they don't play that, which Tampa do business. I mean, I'm not one to tell Julian Brisebois what to do, but
that's not rolling out the red carpet necessarily. Like look at what happened across the league. Last year, the year before, like this is what the NHL is now. Like those years get burned if you have a high profile prospect. This guy just won the Hobey Baker. Like, I feel like, I mean, respect for standing on business if you're the Tampa Bay Lightning and that's how you want to run your organization. But like, you know, I don't know. It's a crazy outcome here. But I love the excitement, and I love the kind of attention that we now have to pay to two players.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let you in a little secret. I was going to be paying a lot of attention to Sam O'Reilly, no matter what. Now, yes, I'll continue to, but I definitely had intentions of paying attention to Sam O'Reilly. Damn. So I have so many questions about what this means lineup wise, and I will not get into it. But if we do, in fact, post this as like an immediate reaction to the Sam O'Reilly for Isaac Howard trade, there's now like, do you play Nugent Hopkins because you signed Andrew Mangiapane, and yeah, you lost a lot of forwards, but you brought back Kapanen. Do you play Nugent Hopkins at third line center, which I think is probably the best place for him to play, and give Mangiapane to McDavid and play Draisaitl with some kids? Like, do you give him Savoy and Isaac Howard?
I was gonna say, Jazz tweeted that exact thing out. Like, asked if we get Howard, Draisaitl, Savoy at some point next year.
That would be so electric.
I mean, that's the best line. That's my favorite line in hockey.
It's so electric.
My favorite line in hockey is Draisaitl plus two people, but like that is.
I cannot have that happen. I am living in a world currently where the Buffalo Sabres won the Ryan McLeod trade. I cannot have Savoy on the same line with arguably the best playmaker in the sport.
I mean, he's not even the best playmaker on his own team, but yeah. I mean, it is man, what a win for Isaac Howard to be like, all right, cool. You don't want to roll it out for me. I'm not playing for your fucking team. Then you get traded and like you step into the NHL and You're on Leon Draisaitl's wing immediately, assuming that's what happens. Like, oh my God, what a win for that kid.
Joke's on him. He has to pay income tax.
There you go. There's our one. We hit our quota for the episode.
There's our
Nice.
breakdown of that trade. We'll be doing it a lot more in our various homes, I'm sure, talking about this trade. But okay, let's get into a little roundup on development camp. And if you don't know, after the draft, teams do development camps where they bring in their prospects, and college players are allowed to do it, even though they haven't signed their contract. So you get a lot of interesting prospects in, and it's basically, it's not an audition. It's really just like a camp for teaching and learning how to be around an NHL room and learn how to deal with staff and everything. Like, players have made impressions that have helped them make the team, but typically this is a pretty low stakes thing. But what came from development camp, and sometimes what does come from development camp, is some fun, wonky things, because they give them activities to do. And I ain't just talking about little TikToks and funny videos. They send them out in the community. They have them do various things. They have them do team building things. And two stuck out to us. Let's start with the Nashville Predators, who sent their players around 6 organizations to do some community service work. This is from the Predators website. The prospects were split across 6 organizations on Wednesday afternoon: Tools for Schools, Cumberland River Compact, Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, Bethlehem Centers of Nashville, Nashville Food Project, and Nashville Inner City Ministry. The players built furniture for teachers, helped clean the Cumberland River, raised spirits at the Children's Hospital, showed off their hockey skills to local children with a game of street hockey, and shopped for school supplies with middle schoolers. That is amazing.
That sounds great.
It's
What's-
so good.
What could possibly make this worth discussing? It's just so nice and wholesome. What could possibly make this a topic of conversation for a podcast?
Well, I mean, we like this stuff.
Definitely.
We like good stuff.
Yeah.
Don't come unless
That's the
you
good
like
shit.
community serve. Yeah, this is the good shit. The reason, unfortunately, why we're discussing it is because the name of the endeavor was, Sean, do you have any photos? Preds in the Community. And there, as Sean has shown, tweeted by the Nashville Predators, 2 prospects with their faces painted wearing t-shirts that say Preds in the Community. Oh my God.
Even worse than that, the tweet caption is the vibe we bring to every function.
I mean,
the vibe you bring to every function is that you are a predator in the community.
I mean, it's better than Predators in the Community, but that's the second worst thing. Like, the worst thing it could be is Predators in the Community. The second worst thing it could be is shortening Predators and doing Predators in the Community, which is what they did.
Yeah, that is. It's. I don't understand how this happens so often, where you look at something and you go, how is there not one person in the room when this was discussed? How is there not one person in this chain of command that said, like the idea, but I have just like a little feedback. Maybe we shouldn't put that on the shirt.
Pete, it's sponsored. It's Preds in the Community, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Someone shelled out for this, which, like, obviously, yes, like, shell out to support this. I mean, bunch of kids getting together, going around doing good shit instead of just like playing Beirut in their hotel rooms or whatever is amazing. This is the best thing that has come from any of these prospect camps. And they chunked the names so fucking badly that well-meaning podcasters have to laugh at it.
It's so tough. But I mean, there's so many layers to why it's funny though. Like it's not just the shirt. It's the teenage kids having to wear face paint and like take weird pictures. It's the tweet caption. It's all of it. It all adds up to just the most unfortunately funny thing that's happened out of development camp.
Okay. That's not even the breadwinner from this. We've been sending stuff in our group text, funny stuff coming from development camps. Sean, are you able to put yourself on camera for this? Okay, toss yourself up because I know that you've got thoughts on this as well. The Maple Leafs brought in a very special guest for their development camp. Here is Assistant General Manager Dr. Haley Wickenheiser during the camp.
Tomorrow we brought in a world-class horse trainer to to spend a couple hours. Actually, we brought in a wild colt, a wild horse, to talk about how you manage emotions and how you go through handling pressure in tricky situations, actually using a horse.
So they brought in a horse and they brought in a horse trainer. Sean, tell the folks at home why this is especially amazing.
Well, because if you're listening closely, she says we brought in a horse trainer to do X, Y, and Z, and we brought in a colt to do X, Y, and Z, suggesting that I think she specifically said we had the colt in here to discuss to talk about how to handle pressure or whatever, implying that the horse was talking to the players, which is like I know that's obviously not what she meant, but it is what she said, and it is hilarious to me. And if it was any team other than the Toronto Maple Leafs, we would be destroying the franchise. But the Leafs just get to do this bullshit and nobody blinks a fucking eye. It's insane to me. And the fact that she suggested that the horse was talking to the players encapsulates how ridiculous it is in its entirety.
The Leafs brought in a horse to give the players a talking to.
Like, is fucking BoJack Horseman or something?
Sean, do you have the shortened version?
I do.
Give it a.
We brought in a wild colt, a wild horse, to talk about how you manage emotions and how you go through handling pressure in tricky situations.
We brought in a colt to talk about. Doesn't matter what the rest of that sentence is. You brought in a horse to talk. Like, what do we do? That's why you haven't won a cup in 3 centuries, because you have horses talking to your players.
It's unbelievable. I also don't know if that was included in the clip, but there was also a part of the quote that said the horse will not be on the ice and no one will be getting on the horse.
Yes, she continued because they're like, so what's the horse gonna do aside from have one-on-one conversations with the players? She said, no, the horse will not be on the ice and no one is getting on the horse. Sean, we asked our friends at ChatGPT for a rendering of what the Leafs assistant GM was saying was going to go down. Could you show the folks? All right, so that is a picture of a horse teaching hockey players.
It's been a while since we brought out ChatGPT. This was like a staple of like the first couple of weeks of the show.
Yeah, cottage season needs ChatGPT.
Yeah, I'm largely out on AI art, but that's a pretty good.
That's what AI art's for. It's for bullshit that you need quickly. That's not supposed to be good or actual art.
Okay,
Yes.
Here's the story from TSN. The prospects at Leafs development camp observed a world-class horse trainer breaking in a wild colt on Friday morning at Toronto Equestrian downtown at the exhibition grounds. Quote, "We first walked in, it smelled horrible," said University of Michigan winger Nick Moldenhauer with a smile. "So we were like, okay, what are we in for here? We didn't know if we had to ride horses or something." The story continues. No, they had to talk to the horse, or more specifically, the horse had to talk to them. A lot of stuff the horse wanted to get off of. Do horses have chests? Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Just like I said,
these poor kids who have no idea, presumably, what they're walking into development camp. Here, a horse is going to speak to you. Good luck.
Also,
This horse is doing a job evaluation on you.
you get like as much shit as I want to give the Toronto Maple Leafs. You get drafted by what I think most people would consider like the most illustrious franchise in the sport, or like maybe not like obviously the other teams have more cups or whatever, but like they're the Yankees, they're the Cowboys, like that's the brand, and you think it's luxury, big city life, and the first thing you do is talk to a goddamn horse.
Horse is now your boss.
Yeah, I would question everything about what I'm doing and where I am and what kind of franchise just drafted me.
You know what sucks is that Brady Martin was so busy being a predator in the community. He would have been perfect for this.
Oh, he would have rode the horse.
He would have
broke the horse.
He would have spoken back to the horse.
That's
the
right.
horse would have been like, he would have been the horse's TA. He would have been helping the horse communicate.
I mean, maybe that's their game plan here. Is maybe they're trying to woo Brady Martin. Maybe this is like their sales pitch is like we bring horses to the rink. You don't have to stay home to have your horses. You can have your cake and eat it too. You have a horse is your boss.
Please don't let us forget. Listeners, keep us honest. We need to do a blank since the Maple Leafs brought a horse to talk to the players. So like if they win the first game of the season, Maple Leafs undefeated since bringing in a horse to talk to their players.
What a franchise.
Year of the horse.
If there was ever a year in which I like had some slight reason to hope that the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup is just they finally break the 1967 drought after being spoken to by a horse.
Were the Maple Leafs galvanized by the horse? Nay.
I got it. Yeah, I got it.
That's not bad.
Nice.
That's not bad.
That's very good. Okay, we'll wrap up with Gavin McKenna to Penn State. Very exciting. Number one hockey prospect in the world other than Isaac Howard, going to Penn State. And college hockey is going to absolutely rock last year. Sean said before the show, he was like, I'm not a Penn State guy. I said, be a Michigan State guy with me. Caden Lindstrom. There are so many fun players in
not
college
Isaac
hockey
Howard
next
anymore.
year. Yes, that's right. You lose Isaac Howard, but you get Caden Lindstrom.
I just have to I gotta get out of the way. I have to hate Penn State. They're doing everything. They are what ASU should have been. They're the club team with their club coach who all of a sudden showed up and they got good immediately and they got all this money, and that should be my life. These players should be going to Phoenix, and they're not, and it makes me sad.
Famously, they are. They open in Mullet Arena.
They do start against Porter Martone, first round draft pick Porter Martone, and the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Porter Martone he went to ASU?
No,
I think Porter Martone could end up at Penn State. The Penn State may not be done.
Yeah.
Like they might get Porter Martone. They might get Michael Misa.
Bill Zito said that they could sign all three.
That's right.
I think last time I saw Michael Misa, it was pretty gung-ho about playing in the National Hockey League next year. Obviously, it's to be seen, but
yeah, it's probably going to happen. But like if the San Jose is so dedicated to the tank, as dedicated as we think they are, they might tell him to fuck off for a year and he might get like a good chunk of change going to play at Penn State.
Plus, like,
dude,
just go be a college kid for a year. That sounds so much more fun.
His brother's playing at Penn State.
Yeah, like so much more fun than sucking on the Sharks for a year, especially if you're getting paid either way.
If they told Michael Misa,
you saw what it looked like to suck on the Sharks last year. Those guys were having a fucking blast.
If they told Michael Misa to fuck off for a year because they were worried he was going to make them too good, I would really need to just be all the way out on them. And I love the Sharks. I love what they're doing. But did you see the report the other day that the Sharks are looking for a top 6 winger?
We're all looking for the guy who did this.
Devotees of the show will know I lost my mind at the Sharks tanking so hard this past year that they traded a young like RFA forward in Fabian Zetterlund, that they're then in the offseason being like, got to get some fucking players in here, man. I don't know what happened, but we want players, maybe even young ones. Like, it's just Tyler Toffoli and a bunch of children over there, which rocks. We saw last year how fun it is. But, like, if you're trading children, come on.
They got to sign Jeff Skinner. I just want to throw that out there. Sign Jeff Skinner, please.
Oh, another part of Game 4 that I was rewatching after the Darnell Nurse goal. Remember the one where it was like Jeff Skinner was doing yeoman's work, gave it to Henrique to Ekholm to Nurse, impossible angle. Bob is like, there's no way he's picking a corner, starts to move, and Nurse scores a Leon Draisaitl goal. After, I forget who he did it to, but Skinner celebrated by putting his arm around a player on the Panthers. Was like, you like that shit, you little bitch. Oh, life could have been so good.
He'd be so awesome on the Sharks.
Oh,
it makes me so sad that Jeff Skinner doesn't have a team yet. Like, somebody sign this guy, please. Like, maybe it's his benefit and maybe he's waiting it out, but it just makes me so sad that like he's the guy who's not signing.
Tampa Bay Lightning should sign him.
I know a team. I know a team that has a bunch of cap space that could maybe. Yeah. I just
return to Carolina.
They're busy.
That's
yeah,
what I was saying.
they have
Buffalo.
10 million.
He
Yeah,
just come back. He can come back home to Buffalo, but him on the Canes would rock.
they're.
I don't know if you would consider Buffalo to be going back home.
I don't.
Maybe.
I don't think so either.
They. But by the way, we didn't have enough time to hit Bo Byram's arbitration hearing, but that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'll tell you what. I'm nearing
moratorium.
I'm nearing moratorium on Bo Byram.
He's just gonna end up on the Sabres. he's just gonna play on the top pair of the Sabres.
I can't hear about Bo Byram anymore. I can't. And I like Bo Byram. I like him a lot. He's a very fun guy. I got to know him in Denver during the Stanley Cup final a few years ago. Really, really like him. Really like him as a player. Really like him as a person. Don't want to fucking hear about him anymore. Can't do it.
Understandable.
So he needs to be on a new team and he needs to play.
He doesn't need to be on a new team. He doesn't need to be on a new team. Doesn't even need to be on a new team. Just if you're going to be a Buffalo Sabre, be a Buffalo Sabre. If you're going to go somewhere else, if they're going to trade you somewhere else, just fucking get it over with. I got here with Gabe Landeskog. It's like, if you're going to play, fucking play. We don't need updates every goddamn week about what's going on in your life. You're either playing or you're not playing. You're either traded or you're not traded. I have better shit to do than worry about Bo Byram every week of my fucking summer.
I need a 1-year reward in arbitration so fucking badly now because this might break Pete. If he gets 1 year and it's just day after day after month after second of Bo Byram, you're a goner.
Unless he's the best player in the world. Like, if he goes to a new team and he becomes the best player in the world, even if he stays on the Sabre and becomes like the best fucking defenseman that the Sabres have, then I'll say, worth it. Good stuff. You knew your worth. You held out for it. You've caused me a million headaches that I didn't need, but you believed in yourself, and good on you.
The thing that I saw that I heard in 32 Thoughts, Elliot said, he was like, this is different. Peterka, and now I feel bad because Pete just said he can't hear about Bo Byram. But he said, like, the thing with Peterka was that he wanted out. Byram doesn't want out. He just wants to get paid. And that made me, I don't know why that made me laugh so hard. I sent it to you guys. I was like, not to be a Bo Byram hater, but like,
that's the thing.
His frustration should be that he can't get paid because it hasn't happened yet for him. And people don't know, like, what is Bo Byram? Is he shit? Like,
I don't think
going to be like Dougie Hamilton light? Is he like, what is, like, people don't know what he is yet. So
that's my thing, is like, everything that we hear about Bo Byram, and maybe it's like the messaging or whatever, but like everything we hear about Bo Byram is that like he wants things. And it's like, he wants power play time. He wants to be a number one defenseman. He wants to be paid. It's like, well, then go play and earn it.
I mean, like, I will say in his defense, I think it's more of an analysis of his situation where he realizes the people in front of him. I think he probably doesn't mind Buffalo or whatever. He just realizes that Owen Power, especially like from his perspective, he's probably looking at Owen Power being like, this kid's not that great yet, and he's in my way. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, we've had this conversation so many times. Yeah. It's like there are guys that maybe are like held in higher esteem or higher regard based off of their potential in front of him. But like nobody's rushing to hand Owen Power the fucking kingdom in Buffalo right now.
I mean, they kind of are because they paid him $8 million already. So like I think, and I mean I think it's rare that a team has 3 like potentially legitimate like power play quarterbacks on their blue line. So like I think it's a little bit of a unique situation for him. But
I don't even know.
I mean, ultimately
Owen
talking
Byram
about it doesn't get us any
classifies as a power play quarterback. Like that's the thing. He's gotten power play time, and he hasn't held it, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I understand when he takes he looks at the Sabres and how the NHL works. Like if he wants to make the most money he's going to possibly make over the course of his career, he needs to be in a position to prove that he can be a number 1 defenseman sooner rather than later. I understand all of that, but I am also with you where it's just like nothing's changed. It's been this since halfway through the season when we first got through the reports, and we're in the same spot now. Like I would rather it just happen, and then we can talk about it then. But at this point, it's just it's like beating a dead horse.
I forget
and
who made the.
It's not the Buffalo thing either. Where I mean, like it is. I get what you're saying in terms of the Buffalo, like in how their roster is lined and how they've given some of the keys to these high draft picks. But like we've gone through like every team in the league at this point and been like, does Bo Byram fit here? Well, like this person would be in front of them on the depth chart. This person would be like, he doesn't hold that much cachet that he would just immediately become a number 1 defenseman on a lot of these teams in the league.
Yeah, and I mean the teams where he might be able to would be teams that have nothing to offer the Buffalo Sabres, which again goes back to them being an interesting situation. I do find it very funny. It is very what chaos that our Gavin McKenna talk turned immediately into a player on one of our 3 teams.
Yeah, and that are okay. Let's talk about the Predators. We have Oilers news. Yeah. All right, let's get to that.
I'm very excited for college hockey, by the way.
I forget who made
to the moon.
I forget who made the comparison because I was trying to think. I was like just saying now, like, is Byram going to be like a shorter, worse Dougie Hamilton, or what is he going to be? Someone said Brandon Montour, and that he might be having the career trajectory of Montour, which like at this point isn't good. It's like
at this point, but Brandon Montour was like a really good player for a number of years, and then cashed in in free agency and like got overpaid, but like he earned being overpaid.
But no, but teams were trying to like figure out what he was for a few years, and then he settled into being like a really good high-end defenseman. And to cross sports, is there like some Matt Clement there where they're the veteran player who still feels like a prospect, where you're like, there's so much that can be gotten out of this guy. And that's like a 20-year-old baseball reference, but it's what came to mind. It's cottage season. We have a tweet from Bob Stauffer. Stan Bowman has been working on this trade for weeks. Isaac Howard finished 3rd in NCAA goals last season, led the nation in points per game. Oilers move a solid prospect in O'Reilly, who projected as a 3C for a scoring winger who will be in Edmonton in 25-26. His last tweet before that, by the way, not surprisingly, Matt Savoy stood out at development camp. Blah, 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 blah. 21-year-old is a, all caps, lock to be in Edmonton's top 9 next season. IMO. Imagine if they let Evan Bouchard go in restricted free agency and had 4 first-round picks to play with. Man, could have been a real youth movement out there.
I do have, somebody just reminded me of a Sam O'Reilly tidbit that I tweeted out this season.
Oh, yes.
And I totally forgot about it. His Wikipedia, I don't know if it's this anymore, but when I tweeted it in January of this year, Sam O'Reilly's entire personal life section on Wikipedia is O'Reilly's nickname is Peanut due to his peanut allergy.
Can confirm that is still the entirety of his personal life section.
That's incredible.
It is already updated about the trade, so it has been updated. Just not his personal life section.
So people are updating the Sam O'Reilly Wikipedia
as soon as we
page.
learn a single other thing about Sam O'Reilly's personal life, it will be on there. We just have yet to learn anything.
Okay, we've been all over the place the last little bit here, but on Gavin McKenna, we're gonna go to Penn State, or we're gonna go see Gavin McKenna in person. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
got to do it.
Mullet rocks.
Mainly because you can take a train to Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, debut at Mullet. Got a studio we can use. Just saying.
Oh, that would be cool.
Just saying.
Where do we have any like early picks for where we want Gavin McKenna to be drafted? Because nothing, like, there's no way that a James Hagen's thing can happen with Gavin McKenna, where
No.
come this time next year, we're like, you know what? Maybe he's like the second or third best player. And like, he can miss the entire season. He can have bad tweets, and he's going first overall, right? Like,
Yeah, I
that
would
is
think so.
ironclad.
Well, I don't know. I would say that like the class. No,
It's
I know.
a very good
I
class.
know the class is good. Like
Keaton Verhoff.
the only pushback that I would have this year to next year, or whatever you want to say, is that the class is so much better.
Yes, true.
I have a pick for where I'd like him to go.
Boston.
Yes,
I'm going to Buffalo.
that's the one.
Man, Elias Lindholm to Gavin McKenna. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
That actually would be
sure.
good.
I just need the Sharks to get him, because I want there to be a point in a few years where they're like, how do they keep all these guys? And then we end up having one of these young people be in the center of free agency conversations.
Oh, a lot of offer sheets going around too.
Yes.
Sharks, get ready to speak 4 first-round picks. Sharks are gonna have like 2 first-round picks, 2 extra first-round picks 4 years in a row, because 2 of their guys are gonna get offer sheeted to massive contracts.
We all know it's going to be Pittsburgh.
Yes,
We all
I know it's going to be.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, and
I'm
he's
already
in Pennsylvania too.
I've been visualizing him, as I'm sure everyone has, because you just said it, on the Penguins. Like, the league's just going to do that. And they're the only team that it feels like is like rebuilding. Sharks, I don't even feel like are rebuilding. Sharks are just like tanking.
That lottery is going to be so huge.
They're just like, we're losing.
I feel like
the Sharks are adding to tank. Like, they're signing guys and like just building their team to tank. And the Penguins, I keep going back to, I think Elliot Friedman sent the tweet, was like, every team in the league is buying this summer except for Pittsburgh. They are selling. Everyone's available except for Sid. And it's like, this is right now the Penguins are the bleakest team in the entire NHL, and I don't think it's a close second behind them.
And they have one of the greatest players of all time still actively on the roster,
still humming,
still humming, very good. Yeah.
Yes.
They're so sad.
I think my pick locked in right now, if I had to choose one team, it's Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, that shit would fucking rock.
No,
it would rock,
I mean,
and he would end up being on the Vegas Golden Knights in 6 years.
You know, another good one.
You know, it's an off the board pick that I don't think a lot of people would identify.
Red Wings,
Calgary.
Oh,
Calgary, just a kind of like Calgary needs a little bit of something. They needed like a star to build around, and if Connor's staying in Edmonton to really juice up the Battle of Alberta a little bit, send the kid to Calgary.
Go back west too, but back to Western Canada.
Damn.
Could say the same about Seattle. Like
I was going to say Seattle, yeah.
Fucking,
they need something to be interesting. They are dangerously. They are the new New York Islanders.
Yes, that would.
No, but now the New York Islanders are like.
That's what I'm saying.
New York Islanders are one of the most
interesting.
fascinating teams in the league now.
Like season 1, kind of 2, it was the Islanders and Wild were the boring teams, and now it is the Kraken and whoever else you want to put in there. But the Kraken, I think, are officially the most boring team in hockey.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I agree. Okay, this has been a fun one, boys. This has been a very, very fun one.
Great.
Yes. Make sure everybody is subscribed everywhere. I check. We're almost at 17,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is nice. So do that if you'd like. I just showed. I'm wearing shorts. I'm also wearing UFOs. Shout out UFOs.
Nicest slides in the game.
Not a sponsor, but should be.
Dude, I know. I've approached that idea with UFOs. So if you're listening, here's a free one. We love the UFO slides so much, and I am not a slides guy. I'm not a sandals guy. I'm not anything open-toed. I don't like to give away my piggies for free.
Oh,
But
I'm a huge socks and slides guy.
I've been crushing my UFOs at home because they're more comfortable than being barefoot, which doesn't make any sense to me. Those things are like walking on pillows.
They replaced my slippers. Like I have house shoes, and I use the UFOs now.
What sucks about getting UFOs is that I want more UFOs.
Because UFO shoes.
I use them for running up and for running stuff outside, coming like I said, I've been moving a bunch. Around the house is great. I bought my girlfriend pair for her birthday. It was part of like a multi-thing gift. First thing she opened was the UFOs and loved them so much, is so excited about them that I was like, fuck, didn't need to get anything else. Like UFOs, massive hit. Hey, she'll like them too. You know?
That's right. What are you, Frank Thomas?
Yeah. UFOs, they're very comfortable and she'll like them too. That's right. They make them for women.
Those commercials, what is it, Nugenics?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Him and Doug Flutie.
Yeah, but like there are multiple of those commercials and they always end the same way.
They always have that.
Like, you can fuck your wife on it too. It's just like, Jesus Christ, Frank
My
Thomas.
favorite thing about that commercial, if folks haven't seen it, the most popular one is they're at the driving range.
Yeah.
The driving range, and a guy's like, man, I just suck at everything. And my penis is bad. And I'm getting fat. And my muscles are deteriorating. I think I'm dying. Hey, Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie. They're like, listen, bitch, if you want to be cool like us, even though Frank Thomas looks way worse than you right now, you need to be taking this thing. It helps with everything. Also, she'll like it too. And they nod at him because he's with the woman. And it is just so plausible that that's his sister, that's his boss, that's so many things. But they're just like, and also, you two will have sex now.
Stranger that I just met, by the way.
Outrageous.
Did I ever tell my Frank
also
Thomas?
will definitively
tell my
not
Frank
make you better at golf. Like if that's the origin of the issue here, no one has ever gotten better at golf because they have higher testosterone.
No, if anything,
we
they're
didn't even
more
talk about
annoying
the golf
golfers.
video.
Yes.
We didn't talk about the golf video that came out today. It was the best. We don't have to, but former NHL player absolutely fed to a drunk.
Bang!
It's
commentated his own punches.
It's tough to show because it's so long, but yes, a player was screaming at a former NHL player on a golf course, and he then just beat him up while making.
No, he didn't just beat him up. He threw him in a lake. He threw him in a lake to start the fight, and this guy crawls out of the lake on his hands and knees, and then goes back for more. And then this guy is commentating him feeding this guy, yelling "bang" every time. And then, not even done there, the guy goes back for more and literally gets tossed
like ragdolled, like parallel to the ground at one point. It was that part was by far the best part of the video, is seeing a grown man literally get thrown like dirty laundry. It was unbelievable.
You know what the
hangover that comes from that has to be like the worst hangover of your entire. I can't imagine. I don't know how you go on living.
Concussion start.
I honestly don't know how you go on living after that happens to you, because like it's gonna be at least 10 years before like somebody in this guy's life doesn't refer to him as like Bang Bang or something. It's just that's who he is now.
That's a good nickname.
It's a good nickname until somebody asks, how'd you get it?
Should have.
It's like peanuts.
I busted out my PXG irons the other day, so watch out for old Golf Dave.
But did I ever tell the Frank Thomas story from Vegas on this podcast?
Yes,
yes, you did.
Okay, all right.
The greatest dinner of our lives,
and it ended with him saying, "She'll like it too."
Yeah,
and it was just him and Pete. It was just him and Pete at the urinals alone in the bathroom, and he's like,
and he said,
she'll like it too." Frank Thomas.
Looks like your dick sucks. You should try Nugenics, and she'll like it too. And I'd be like, "There's nobody here. We're in the bathroom alone." He says, "Yeah, it's because you don't take Nugenics."
Do you think that if we went to a Frank Thomas autograph signing, which absolutely happened, he would sign something like, "Dear Pete, thanks for the support. Frank Thomas, P.S. She'll like it too."
I hope so.
I feel like there's two possible outcomes. He laughs and does it, or you get thrown out of the event. Like there's a real scenario in which he got paid so much to do that, but hates that he does it.
Yeah.
And anytime someone brings it up with him, he's on the verge of beating their ass.
So I'd be cool with that scenario, honestly, if Frank Thomas was the one that threw me out. If I got thrown out by Frank Thomas's security, that's not even a good. So you're just like, hey, I annoyed Frank Thomas at an autograph signing,
out by
and he had to ask, and so they took me away.
Somebody half the size of Frank Thomas throws you out for harassing Frank Thomas. That's
because
so
he couldn't
lame.
even be bothered.
Someone way smaller than Frank Thomas, but quite a bit larger than me, told me to
I
leave.
never thought about that, but that's a real advantage of being a real small guy like myself. Is like nobody blames somebody like me if I have to have like larger people handle like harassers or people bothering me. Like if you're Frank Thomas and you have anybody else handle your business, then you can't be that big and have other people do your dirty work. You got to toss them yourself.
Yeah. You got to get
Roman
off Nugenics to get smaller, so then
That's right.
you can hire whoever you want.
Somehow this episode just became a full infomercial for Nugenic.
But a nightmare one.
They're
Talking
all
about
nightmare ones, Teej.
What's that?
They're all nightmare ones.
Yes.
These are random man on the street telling you that your wife needs to be fucked better.
I mean, that is what it is.
And again, if you stop taking it, you get small. That's if you need to get bigger, Nugenic says take that, and if you need to shrink, take it and then stop taking it. The results will be horrifying. That movie, the Substance, that sucked. It was a bad movie.
Okay,
you know that one.
I do
I
know that
concur.
one. Yeah, Jacob
right.
Locke hated it.
Enough. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Next episode, we'll talk to you about the bear.
Oh yes.
Right.
Amplified.
That's
Bye.
a tease, folks. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.